Hello, everyone. Come on in, have a seat. Welcome to the Cluster Puck Podcast, part of the MHRT Network here at Center Ice. I am Nick, and beside me, as always, hold back the paparazzi. It's Iowa's greatest hockey mom, Brit. How's it going, Brit?
It is going good. It's good to be
It's
an
going
fan.
great,
That's
actually.
For sure.
Especially in Avalanche land, which we'll get to in just a second. But before we begin, we'll just kind of dive right into everything. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow the MHRT Network so you can get notified when shows like the Cluster Puck Podcast go live. You can do so on the various social media platforms of your choosing. And if you want to follow us, we ask that you do so at the Cluster Puck Podcast on Facebook and at Cluster Puck Avs on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. Well, Brit, week 1 of the regular season is out of the way. And wouldn't you know it, the Avalanche are sitting in first place in the league. How do you figure? Isn't that the most beautiful piece of news you could probably ever say after week 1?
It's so I am filled with so much fragile but careless excitement. I mean, if we were doing bad, I'd be saying it's just 1 week. Like, it doesn't matter. It's not. But like, this is kind of, I just feel like we should make a trophy. I'm so excited with how things are going that I don't even care that it's only 3 games or 5 games, whatever. It feels so good.
It really does. I mean, so out of the 4 games that happened, which we'll talk to, we ended up winning 3 of those and losing the other in shootouts. And honestly,
yeah. The ones that we should have won, we didn't, and the ones that we maybe shouldn't have won, we did. So it's been a very curious,
a little bit.
Yeah.
However, before we begin, there is one last piece of news that I wanted to make sure that our listeners were made aware of. There was a birthday that was had over the weekend. Our dearest co-host Brit had a birthday, so everyone wished her a belated happy birthday. Mikko Rantanen,
it's the last one. After this one, we don't acknowledge my age anymore.
Right.
Haven't figured out how I'm ready to publicly declare the way I feel about Mikko Rantanen yet. So next week, I'm probably going to have a long talk about Rantanen because I don't.
But he
politically correct.
He wished you a happy birthday with that little shootout goal.
But he did.
We'll talk about that in just a second. But I just wanted to make sure that everyone send Brit your birthday wishes and pour out your love and support for her. She's an amazing part to this podcast. We cannot physically and viewership-wise do this without her. So happy belated birthday, Brit.
Thank you.
Wishing you all the best. Now, that being said, let's talk some hockey. Let's talk some actual substance hockey, I guess you could say, for the regular season. So, like I said before, the Avalanche ended up going 3-0-1 in these 4 games that we talked about. Let's kind of just go one by one, talk about it, and kind of see the overall impression of kind of what we've seen. Because I feel like 4 games is a pretty good indicator early in the season for what
and they're not calorie-free games. I mean, they're games that you can put some
you can hang your hat on some of them.
Some weight on them. Yeah. It's not a totally worthless set of games to try to take anything from. I really do feel good about the sample that we do have, although it is small.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of peculiar in how things have gone, but would we be the Colorado Avalanche if Jake Ottinger didn't turn into Jesus when we were playing them?
Oh, see, it's not even him that I was worried about in the goaltending category. I'll reveal that answer in just a second. But first games first. The Avalanche storm into Crypto.com Arena and play the LA Kings in their brand new alternate jerseys that they suddenly dropped on the ice when they took the last warm up. Which, to my knowledge, they actually look pretty all right. And that's just coming from me. The Kings, the only thing that's very odd to me was their kind of silverish helmets, but they ended up growing on me.
I'm so down with the helmet. I will fight to the death for the helmets, and the fact they seem to, was I right, or was it like a camera thing? They transitioned to a little bit more matte and a little bit less chrome.
It feels like it was more matted. That's what I remember. At least
I
I should say
liked
when,
it, and I just don't know if it translates on camera the same way that it would live, but
potentially.
I'll always argue, no matter how ugly they are, for wild helmets, because I don't want them to stop. I want them to just always just do it.
There you go.
I love
So
it.
I quite
And the
liked the jersey.
blackout,
It was
I love it.
simple. The crown, I mean, it was all really well and good.
It's crisp.
The only
and
thing, Britt, the only thing in this game that really bothered me was that I was not able to watch it live. I had to go back and rewatch it. Why? Because I was too busy kind of rage texting / half bragging at you because I was at a Tate McRae concert. And I know life sucks, right?
The one excuse in this world that I would let pass. And she's a hockey girly, so she's
and
not
she's
even
a hockey
mad
girly. That's
for it.
kind of where I was like, it's okay. There's hockey being played in some capacity, no matter what. But needless to say,
She's a
I did
Calgary
go back
fan,
and
though,
watch it.
so-
There you go. I did go back and watch it. So the Avs skate away with a 4-1 win against the Kings. And honestly, Britt, I feel like no notes other than, I guess there is one statistic I do want to pull up. While I'm saying that, though, let me just talk about the one, the only Marty Necas. 2 goals in this game. He could have had more. He could have had like 6.
Money signs.
Yeah, he had so freaking many, and it was incredible. The only thing, my only gaffe in this game, as far as the Avalanche are concerned, is the fact that they were given 6 power play opportunities and barely scored on one of them.
Yeah, like, excuse me, sir, Hextall, we brought you here to fix this, and it's literally the only thing that does not seem to be. I was trying to look up, and statistically, we weren't creating a ton of chances, but it is it's gonna be a big shift on the power play and the I don't know. It seems to have started to catch a little bit of momentum, but I really do hope that if it doesn't very quickly turn around, they drastically change some stuff up with the right-handedness and McKinnon and Necas. I don't want to struggle through this all year.
Yeah, I agree. And although what I did notice that was interesting is that typically, obviously in the past, the Avalanche would do a fake bring it in and then do a drop back pass to one guy who then went to one side or another. This one they did kind of a tandem entrance, which was new. It was welcome, but it just really wasn't executed very well. And I'm giving them a few games to kind of get that taken, get that nailed down, because it is a new system. It is a new power play, or entry, I should say. However, the one thing that I still like, as I was watching the game, every power play that the Avs were given, pass, just right back to that old stupid rhythm. Even though their forechecking was great to keep it in the zone.
But then when you see the tic-tac-toe connect, like the Drury pass, who was the tic-tac-toe on that goal?
Was that one?
What does Benson Boone say? Mystical, magical. That wasn't a power play goal, but it makes it so hard for me to be too mad about the overpassing and looking for.
I believe that was Marty Necas's. Unless you're talking about,
or was that
the one
Olofsson
from the U game in which Ross Colton scored? That one was a tic-tac-toe that I remember.
Yes. Those kind of goals make me like bite my tongue a little bit to be mad about being trigger shy or taking one pass too extra. Hopefully we can find a good balance, because it feels like more often than not they take the extra pass, but when it connects, oh my God, it's so beautiful. And
it's
just
incredible.
That goal, the Ross Colton, was it Colton, Drury, and Olofsson?
Let me take a look. I want to say that sounds actually correct.
That was
you're
like
right.
Wet dream goal stuff. And to see it come from those 3 guys,
set up so beautifully, because again, it's that question of defense is scrambled and you're finding two open guys to just continue to kind of swirl that defense around, and it gets the goalie totally confused. Like Vejmelka didn't even have a shot, and it was great. Like that's tic-tac-toe.
And Vejmelka was playing very well.
He was playing extremely well. But we'll talk about that game in just a second. I'm also trying not to get excited.
So sorry. Yeah.
No, you're good.
Power play. To sum that up, I'm fine with it for now, and I think that they are too, because it's progressively gotten better. But I really hope to see them very drastically change and see the new coach not wait for it to fix itself. If that is fair.
I think that's a fair way to put it. However, this game, I mean, had it not been for a Kevin Fiala goal late, the game was put away. I mean, the game was easily in hand, especially because that second period where you blow it open with 3 goals, and it just felt like LA didn't really come out swinging for this game, despite the manpower. And I understand there was all the pomp and circumstance that was going on with, you know, it being Anze Kopitar's last season before retirement. So, I mean, the new what am I trying to say? The new uniform reveal. Boy, that was a tongue twister. I don't know why. The new uniform reveal. Yeah, no kidding. So there was all that stuff going on. It's the first game. I get it. But the play for LA just did not reflect. And like I said, I believe last episode, maybe a couple ago, LA is a fringe team for me this year. Unless they're getting third in their Pacific Division, they're not making the playoffs. That's kind of where it sits. It's either third or you're out.
Unless you have like a ton of faith in Darcy Kemper, there just doesn't really feel like any like factor that could separate them from anyone else.
Yeah. And
especially
honestly,
any more than last year.
Had it not been for a shootout win against Vegas, which I also happened to watch that game against LA. That game was actually a lot of fun. Had it not been for that, LA is currently looking at 1-2-1, you know, so not the hottest start.
Yeah.
Despite all those new pieces that they went and, in my opinion, overpaid for. The game to me just
and the vibes gotta be rough. I'm not sure, like I don't follow much of their social stuff, but you got to think at least some part of them is realizing, looking at the end of the year, their dude is retiring. Like this is his last year, and it's kind of the end of a very successful era. And I just don't see them being capable of going through a very quick retool that would bring them back to a cup. So I'm sure there's a little bit of like, I don't know, sadness or buzzkill to the season with that. But maybe I might be wrong there.
Like, potentially. I mean, obviously the season is very much young, you know, it's just barely started. So there's always time for a turnaround or a sudden surge of momentum. But just based off of what I've seen so far from LA, they better pick it up. That's all I'm going to say. Now, obviously this is an Avalanche podcast, so we'll continue with the Avalanche games.
Yeah, and I mean, but they're not bottom feeders, and
no, they don't have to be. So
they're a worthy opponent to be proud of beating, but I do think we should have beat them more soundly. The one thing I can say about LA game is it's nice to see us beat real teams, even when we're not really playing very cohesively.
And hold on to that thought, because that's kind of how I felt about the game against Buffalo. So hold on to that. I want to get a deeper dive into that. But let's move on to the next game. So home opener now, Ball Arena, place is buzzing, and it's against the Utah Mammoth. They narrowly avoid this one to go to overtime, 2-1, had it not been for a late Nathan MacKinnon goal. Or I guess I should say technically it's an early Nathan MacKinnon goal on the power play, which is great. But this game, this is the one, that tic-tac-toe shot where Ross Colton scores. It was you're exactly right. It was
we got to see our iconic Ross Colton celebration face.
Isn't it great?
The biggest, beautifulest teeth that ever graced this earth.
It was incredible. Like it
It's like
really was
going to be
incredible.
90 years old, and I'm going to tell people, like, find somebody that celebrates you the way Ross Colton celebrates you when you score a goal.
Pretty much.
I hope we can keep him.
The big news on this one is that the Avalanche, watch this, Brit, almost 70% from the faceoff dot.
Yeah, what the hell was that?
Isn't that incredible? Like that.
When they kept saying it, and I just thought, surely we just haven't had a big enough sample size, but we kept being over 60% win through the entire game. It felt like I believe this was the game that I listened to Eric Johnson with Connor McGahey, by the way, so it was particularly enjoyable.
Did he sound different with his teeth in?
Well, that's what I was thinking about, him wearing teeth, and I figured he probably will always do it for radio because the lisp isn't as endearing when you can't see his missing teeth. He did wonderful, honestly. I think he's going to be so good at it. It's so nice to listen to him talk from the brain of an elite hockey player and not like a dorky comment. Like,
yeah,
Connor McGahey and Eric Johnson might be two of the greatest hockey people in their respective careers that ever existed. So it's honestly such a good match, but they had so much good insight. And EJ did talk about McKinnon having spent the summer dead ass determined to up that face-off percentage win, which it felt like he had been doing that for several years, but I don't know what would be different this year, but or if we just got lucky and the Mammoth had a bad one. But the Mammoth, they're a force to be reckoned with. That I am really excited for what that team's doing, because that game was one of the most fun games, just back and forth wise,
it was a lot of
that I've seen in a long time.
Yep.
For the second game of the year to be that exciting.
Yeah. And if you ask my opinion, had it not been for, the Mammoth doing 36 giveaways, that definitely helped. I just
kind of feel like a little absy there.
It kind of felt like it. Like it just felt like just watching the Mammoth, and obviously, watching Mammoth games, going to Mammoth games myself. It felt like their youth took over instead of the experience. Just where it just felt like the team wasn't, the chemistry wasn't quite there. Obviously, with the new additions of JJ Peterka and Nate Schmidt, all those guys, like it felt like it wasn't quite there, and it doesn't quite feel like it's there yet. But I feel like that's
when it does come together.
When it comes together, which it will. Like this happened last year as well with the Mammoth. Was it took them a second to get going, but then when they caught a stride, Like it was impressive.
Well, and they just couldn't catch a break. And this is kind of all encompassing for the entirety of the season so far. Scott Wedgwood would not allow them to score even.
Yeah.
No matter what they put. I mean, Scott Wedgwood has been, to me, the biggest takeaway of unbelievable hope for this team to make it deep into the playoffs. There is no question that he is every bit as capable as so many team starters, and that he can. How long has it been since we had a goalie steal a game for us, Nick? And you have to have that happen sometimes.
You do.
And he took that game from them, and it frustrated them. And that's definitely part of being a young team, because that one at the end, there is no reason that they shouldn't have scored on that. I cannot even imagine how much they walked into that locker room wanting to punch Scott Wedgwood in the face, thinking about nothing else.
No, but you're exactly right. I mean, this one was, both goalies were playing extremely well.
Yeah. For sure.
And again, I don't want to say it had a playoff atmosphere, but it got pretty close. Where, the shots were both around the 30 range. I think the average was like 27 and the Mammoth were like 33. So like shots were fine. But at the end of the day, what are you going to do when Nathan McKinnon is coming at you from 20 feet away on a power play? Karel Vejmelka just he couldn't have done anything, which
I should have checked my text messages after, I think it was the second game. I said, McKinnon's going to score 60 goals this season. Like,
It
there
feels
is
like
something
it.
wrong with that man. And then after the Sabres game, I text my like family group chat and I said, McKinnon's going to score 70 freaking goals this season. I don't even care if it's mathematically possible. He's got to do it. Like, McKinnon is
4 games, 4 goals.
terrifyingly.
He's on track to have 82.
Is it too early to like say that? Are we peaking too early, or are we just this good when we're not at our best even? I don't know. It feels really good. And a lot of that comes on the back of Scott Wedgwood and Natchez.
Yeah. Yeah. However, we'll move on to the next game. Every goalie that always saves a game always kind of has a dud of a game. And this one is my Scott Wedgwood's dud of a game. Early, get it out of the way. It's okay. Ottinger wasn't necessarily the greatest either. But against Dallas, this is their only loss, and it's in a shootout 5-4. Unfortunately, happy birthday, Brit. You get 1 point, not 2.
Yeah. I'll take the point.
You got to take a point at least against a division opponent, right?
Yep.
So here's the big kicker, though. This one was a very whirlwinded game, if you ask my opinion. The Avs were down by a goal, 3 times in that game, and had to play catch up 3 separate occasions, right?
Just usual Dallas bullshit.
It really was. And that was the hard part about this whole thing was they score late in the first period. You get one early in the second. Everything's fine. Then Gavin Brindley with his first career goal, congratulations to him, he puts you up. And I'm like, okay, as long as the consistency of this game remains the same, you're probably looking at like a 3-2 win or a 4-3 win or something around that area.
And up until the moment he was that guy, it was kind of nice to see Mikko was relatively underwhelming.
It was. In fact, I don't think he had
some booze.
I think he only had 1 assist on the Thomas Harley goal in the first period, but other than that was relatively quiet.
Mm-hmm.
He got a penalty committed, I think, a couple of times, or just at least a time, I should say. But the frustrating part to me about this game, obviously it was a good game, goals abound, it was wonderful, was the overtime period. And the Avs had a lot of chances to actually make some moves, but ended up being too selfless with the puck. And I understand, right? Like, hockey is a team sport, right? But at some point, you got to take some personal accountability and put the game in your hands, especially when you have that much open ice. It's a 3-on-3 overtime. Nathan MacKinnon, Cale Makar, Natchez, any of those guys should have gone and ended the game on their stick, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, and if quality isn't working, go for quantity and get a sloppy goal. Like, as a goalie, I can tell you, sloppy goals are far more impossible to predict or to know how to take care of than the quality. I mean, the quality is just about everything lining up, but sometimes you just need to get messy and flop a puck over a leg pad because the goalie can't cover it when Gabe's butt is in his face. You know what I mean? It's just, it feels like we push really hard on the quality sometimes that a little bit of sloppiness might be the thing that gets Jake.
Yeah.
Especially when a goalie is playing like Jake.
You're exactly right. So nothing happens in overtime, which, again, it's all in the past at this point. But as far as shootouts were concerned, Jason Robertson, he gets a goal. Then Val Nichushkin a couple of rounds later ties that up.
How do you feel about our choices for shootout?
That was interesting. I wonder why Victor Olofsson. I wonder if he's pretty good with stick handling.
I mean, you have to imagine that he has something in his pocket that he knows something about Jake Ottinger, or
potentially
like watched enough film to know that his shot is a specific weakness, you know, but God, it would help if we could just be enlightened on that, and there's secrets, or maybe they are just pulling it out of their ass. And he's like, I'm feeling good tonight, coach. Because remember, he put Drouin in the one shootout, and Drouin, one of our more important shootout goals last year. So I don't know, but it didn't appear to be something special.
My guess, it's probably just the stick handling on this particular instance. So maybe like a specialty. That's
or maybe even the lack of having
could be
Jake watched. You know what I mean? I'm sure that
not a lot
Jake
of film
Ottinger probably sits in bed watching Nathan MacKinnon shootout. Do you know what I mean? Like literally. So maybe sometimes it is just the immaturity of it, or I don't know.
It could be.
It didn't feel good when he didn't score, though. I can tell you that.
It didn't. And it hurt even more because obviously, like, as soon as they sent Mikko Rantanen out there on the last round, I was like, he's going to score. Why? Because poetry works in favor of you and against you at any given point, right?
And you know that those boos we were giving him, he was
they just fueled him even
so
more,
high on them.
You know?
And that's why it's like, we probably shot ourselves in the foot there, making him feel
most likely
all fueled up on it.
So he scores a really good wrist shot, and then it goes to Nathan MacKinnon. And had it not been for just one stacked up pad that happened to be in the right spot, we would have kept going. But Jake Ottinger ultimately gets the last laugh. Again, you skate away with a point. I'm okay with that. It's just kind of disgruntling a little bit when it's that kind of poetic. Of course, it's Mikko that ends it, and Nate can't respond. They were obviously, you know, that kind of.
But yeah, especially in a shootout when there's no chances left, you don't get another shot.
Yep.
It was really, that game didn't disgust me though. You know what I mean?
No,
I hate Dallas more than any team in this league. I don't like their fans. I think they are obsessed with the Avalanche, and the only response that ever needs to be said is, where's your cup? Like, you've eliminated us in the shootout, and they think that it's like some flex, but we have a cup. So really, we're haunting you a lot more than Mikko is haunting us. And frankly, I don't know if you're ready to transition into it, but at this point, with how Necas has played, do you feel any regret or negativity or like downgrade in Necas right now?
No, and I don't think.
Necas?
And like I said, after that trade happened, and they
each had a point and 2 assists in the Dallas game.
Oh, sure. And had it not been for a goal called back against Buffalo, he'd be tied with MacKinnon for most goals on the team so far.
Yes. Offsides on his own goal, wasn't it?
Isn't that beautiful? It's stupid. Anyways, so speaking about Marty Necas, I don't see much of a drop off in play. If he's already keeping up with MacKinnon and he's kind of already making his presence known, like loudly, I don't see much of a drop off between him and Rantanen. And now obviously there are those kind of specialty things that each one was good at, you know, but since this is obviously a contract year for Necas, he's going to want to play better. But I just don't think there's going to be that much of a drop-off in production between what Mikko Rantanen gave us for all those years and what Marty Necas gives us this season, and potentially more if a contract gets signed for an extension. So I'm really excited personally to see him flourish into this top line, this right wing kind of guy for MacKinnon and for and the name just
I'm excited for him to prove to people that he is worth making that trade go down as a positive in the long run. Because when he was first scoring at the beginning of the year, every goal I was like, it's another $1 million. That like, it was kind of making me sick that like, if he's too good, are we going to lose him too? But
maybe.
Truly, the best thing he can do for himself is have a kick-ass year, but he has to show up in the play. Nothing matters until the playoffs. Exactly. And if he can perform, they will probably gladly give him a big fat-ass paycheck, and he's younger, and he'll have proved, he'll essentially have solidified or at least started to solidify a positive legacy for McFarland's Sakic era that is a little bit tainted right now, or just has a dark cloud over it.
Yeah. And with the cap going up again,
yeah,
I don't
think
it's
that
going to be
12.5 is too much for
I
him.
don't. Yeah,
and I don't
think
think that paying
12.5's
him as much as Mikko is stupid.
Yeah, I don't think 12.5's terrible by any stretch of the imagination. But anyway, so speaking of the goal that was called back, let's go to the Buffalo game and recap that one. So this one, like I told you before, to put a pin in this, the Avalanche won, and there really was no worry because it's Buffalo. No offense to you,
Right.
Sabres fans watching this. I'm very I apologize, and please accept my condolences.
I feel so bad for him. It's not even funny at this point.
This game for the Avalanche was rather sloppy, but I can't say it's fully that because Devin not Devin Levi. Who am I thinking of? Alex Lyon?
Yeah.
Hang on, let me grab
He is one of the dudes.
the statistics real fast. He was playing very, very well in that game. Right?
He made every save that they could have expected from him.
He stopped 34 of 37, right?
Yeah.
And against this kind of a high octane offense is extremely good. The only thing that I just kind of
were relentless on him.
Oh, we didn't let up. Oh, it was
which
just
is
shot
nice
after
to
shot
see
after
because
shot.
It hasn't always been a strength of ours to be consistent in applying pressure, and they even did let up a little bit in the second period. They certainly weren't who they were in the first and third, but it's nice to see them finish games that it seems like we were bitching about last year not being finished.
Yep, which is always a good sign. 3-1 was the final score. Should have been 4 had Nate just not been a dum-dum. But the game itself, like if they just played their normal style hockey, the Avalanche, this game could have been 6-1 without a question.
Sure.
You know, and that's what frustrates me is because my worry is that when they play the bottom feeder teams, we'll call it, that they play down to that level. They had that issue last season and the season prior.
Chicago is our current Achilles heel, and prior to that, it was the Coyotes. We could never beat the Coyotes, no matter how good we were. I think the Cup year, we lost every game to them.
I believe that's.
Or was that Chicago?
Accurate. Well, it's probably both, to be honest with you.
But we have always had these bottom feeder teams that shouldn't even be NHL teams that are actively working to lose games for draft placement.
Yep.
And somehow we lose to them.
Yep. And that's the only little worry that I was like, was this just a fluke because Alex Lyon was playing well? Or was it that whole, it's a matinee, it's early?
That is a weird, I forgot. It was at like 11:30 for him.
It was early. It was really
Canada doing Thanksgiving on Monday. You lucky ducks.
Isn't that something? Yeah, weird. But and that always seems to be the matinee game. It's against Buffalo. Weird. More statistics in this game, Brit. Let me pull this up real fast. This one was
too many men on the ice. God forbid we went a game without one of those.
I know,
it'll never cease to amaze me that NHL players.
It's the three constants in life: death, taxes, and the Avalanche always getting caught with an extra man on the ice. But here, whatever. Here's the glaring issue, though. And I forgot to bring this up with the Dallas game as well. So I'll just kind of loop them both in. You got 5 power play opportunities against Dallas, and you score on 1 of them. But for Buffalo, you were given 4 power play opportunities, and you scored on 0 of them. That's where I was like, 6-1 should have been a final score, because if you at least score on half of those, like
statistically, like in the scientific numbers, no emotion, it feels almost impossible that we haven't accidentally scored a goal at this point.
It's ridiculous. And again,
which
I understand
Dallas
we've only played
far easier than Buffalo, because Dallas, we generated a lot. We should have we got goalied, and so I can excuse that. But when it's carried through to a Sabres game, like there's no more excuses, and it was a problem already in the prior games. Like it's I would say that's probably the biggest concern with this team at this point.
And I get it, right? You're 4 games into the season. I'm wound up tight. You know, I need to relax. It's gonna pan out. But when it's against these types of teams early in the season where Buffalo can't even score more than a goal in a game, then that's where my concern is, where it's like, well, what are you going to do against the actual penalty kill units on opposing teams where they'll go after you, and now you risk a shorthanded opportunity going the other direction. You know what I mean?
From my optimistic. The optimist side of me wants to think that maybe they're doing some stuff that isn't quite comfortable and testing it out. I don't know if you really test things out through 4 games at the beginning of the season in the NHL, but that's what I'm trying to think and hope is that, but they haven't made a lot of changes that convince me they are. I don't know.
I don't know either, unfortunately.
And I'd like to see more of our PP2. It feels a lot like our PP1 gets moving and cycling and doing so much that never seem to end in a goal. It looks really good a lot of the time, but it doesn't seem to be. Like I said, I would like a sloppy goal over a pretty not goal.
Yep. Anything that crosses that red line is all I care about. I don't care how ugly it is. I don't care how pretty it is.
Yeah.
Just get it across the freaking line, you know? Okay. So that wraps up everything as far as previous games. Again, you're 3-0-1 and first in the league. And obviously that means a lot, right? We should be more positive about this. But you and I, Brit, see the game differently. That's just how we are, right?
We see the game like fans who lived through a 48-win season.
We're like half coach, half fans, right? We're armchair GMs, right? That's all we are.
Yeah.
But
if only they would just ask us, we could help them.
Seriously, like put me behind the bench. I'll wear a nice suit and tie. I'll even lose weight if it means I'll be able to get a little bit of camera time. But it's just that power play needs to get better. I don't think it's going to be much of an issue. It better not be much of an issue.
Just because in the playoffs you live and die, that's the difference in
that's where a lot of
exactly.
That's where a lot of dagger stabs can happen, is in those penalty kill / power play moments. So it's better to get.
And I will mention, I don't know if we talked about Brock Nelson getting his wrist cut.
Oh, yeah.
Hearing about a laceration as an Avs fan is honestly so traumatic.
I think it was just a nick, which is good because he was right back out
stitches. There. Yeah, that was.
But, terrifying stuff, man.
We don't handle cuts very well as a fan base.
Because the last one, or the last big one, I should say, that happened to be against our captain, who then subsequently had to take 3 seasons off after playing out a season or 2. So cuts are very, very no in Denver. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on, Britt, to the upcoming games. There's, I believe, 3 that I want to talk about. Yep, 3 that I want to talk about. You're finishing up your little road trip. Not much of a road trip if you're going to Buffalo and then Columbus, but here we are. You play the Blue Jackets. So at the time of this recording, it'll be Thursday, October 16th, 5 p.m. Mountain Time puck drop. Columbus. This is the odd question of, are they progressing? Are they digressing? They're 1-2 right now, but I don't want to necessarily rule them out because Columbus has always randomly been that team.
Doesn't matter how much they suck. They give us hell.
They do. And I guess I could call this our first trap game of the season, if you will. I mean, technically any game can be a trap game, but I feel like this one has the makings of being, you're caught off guard and all of a sudden they blow you out 7-4. You know, like that's a
And
worry of
I don't
mine.
know. It's probably going to be a very hard year for Columbus. I don't want to say the high, but that feeling of playing for Matthew last year, you know what I mean? It felt like they really were able to find a depth that they weren't necessarily going to be able to get to without a very strong driving emotional factor. And so I'm curious to see this year. I mean, they always beat us though, even when they are at the worst points in season, like team builds. I don't know what to even point out as what they've got on us or what they've ever had on us, but it just seems like we have lost some very embarrassing games to Columbus throughout the years, like for no particular reason.
Yeah. Here's my key to the game, Brit. I was going over some statistics for Columbus and their 3 games that they played. And there was one big one that stuck out to me, even though it was their only win against Minnesota. They won that game 7-4. There was something that stuck out to me that then I went and looked at their subsequent games. They commit a lot of penalties.
Do they?
Columbus does.
Wouldn't you be angry too if you played for the Blue Jackets?
I mean, maybe. But here's the kicker.
I hear Columbus is lovely.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Here's the kicker. They committed 8 penalties against Minnesota, and Minnesota scored on 4 of them. All 4 of their goals were on the power play, even though they lost.
So this is where we get the power play buzzing?
This is if there is a time to get the power play back to where it needs to be, my guess, based off of the numbers right now, is that Columbus will be committing plenty of penalties, at least 4, if not more. This is going to be a guess, right?
No, it's when you have guys like McKinnon and now add Natchez into that are fast and genuinely just infuriatingly good, like there is nothing that can be done to stop them. It makes teams take penalties. It really does.
Yep.
Because sometimes hooking them is really all that you got in your pocket.
That's exactly right. Another example, their most recent game, Columbus's most recent game against the Devils, 5 penalties. And another game that they lost against the Predators, 4 penalties. So like, they are going to commit penalties. And if there is a time for the Avalanche to put something together on their power play and special teams units, it's got to be this one. You're going to have opportunities.
Get some momentum.
That's a great way for momentum. And it would be an even better way to put the game out of hand early.
For sure.
For sure. Exactly.
And then bench Makar.
And then
bench him.
Then bench the whole first power play unit at that point.
I know. That's what, like, people keep talking about Mackenzie Blackwood getting back, and it's like, why do you care? Just leave him out as long, like, let him finish his martini till the last drop. This year, I feel like, is one that we should bench as much as we can or limit ice time in games like this that we should be able to put away early. Like, that is such a big deal to me, is limiting Makar's ice time, Devontae's ice time, because ice time adds up to injury and just body wear. And it would be nice to have them with as little time on the ice that they are having to fight. You know what I mean? Be in situations that they feel it's necessary to risk a body or, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I just would like to limit the wear and tear. And this is one of those games that, honestly, if they decided to sit Cale Makar for the game, I am like, I know the load management debate between NHL and NBA is like a pretty hot one.
Yeah.
But when it comes to guys like Cale Makar, I don't really have any shame in wanting to preserve or at least try to cut little areas where we can to take some of his load off throughout the year so that then he can literally give his whole entire body in the playoffs like he's going to do and have more of it left. And I see this as one of those games that we shouldn't be making ourselves work for 60 minutes.
Yep.
you know what I mean?
Now you don't mean that as in take your foot off the gas. It's just put it
No,
out of hand early and then just kind of play a
stabilized, consistent,
stabilized
not
game.
be
Yes.
down by 1 and having to fight for our lives to score
Yes.
before the end of the game.
Yes. I heard
Putting it
some
away
people
from
typing angry comments, and so I decided to clarify that.
Nope, taking your foot off the gas is not one of my
Not an option. Not an option.
regular thoughts.
Okay, so moving on to the next game, you come back home for the game against the Bruins. That's going to be Saturday, October 18th, 7 p.m. Mountain Time puck drop. The Bruins right now are 3-1-0, Brit.
So freaking weird, man. Nikita Zadorov is a king in that world.
Well, here's my question, though. Do we trust that record?
No, absolutely not. We have proved that in the midst of the Bruins at like their literal breaking point, losing in a way we've never seen, a powerhouse like the Bruins, a team that is literally, I mean, they have been a team of winners. They are a team of winners. They have always done well, been strong. They crumbled. They absolutely crumbled and went on a losing streak like they had never done before. And we lost to them. Do you remember that game last year that we lost? It was one of the most sickening losses that I can remember in the last few years because we needed a get right game. They needed a get right, like
anything,
life change. And we lost to them at their lowest when they literally just gave us a punching bag and said, here, boost your ego, beat it up, get on with it. And we freaking lost to them.
Yep.
And points like that mattered at the end of the season.
Yep. And that's kind of where my fear comes from, in that gone are the days of Patrice Bergeron and,
okay. Did you see the video of Pasta blocking that shot?
I did not. I actually don't know what you're talking about.
Went and played straight up goalie, like got in a goaltender position and blocked a shot off the top of his foot to protect an empty net goal. And all I could think about is if I owned that team and I watched the only man on my team that was capable of doing anything productive. Oh, it must have made people so sick to think if Pasta got injured, the Bruins would be just
in shambles,
lifeless. And it's so weird because I've always hated them, but in like a because I want to be, you want to be them, you know what I mean? It's they have just their shell of what they once were, but I don't trust them at all. Even, and Zadorov he is literally being seen as a god right now, which is comical to me.
I know, it's weird. It's weird to see that there is a second Big Z in Boston. Isn't that weird?
Oh my God. It's so weird. And is there anyone that we dropped F-bombs on more than Nikita Zadorov during his time with the Avalanche? I mean, he was truly desperate to make us hate him. Yeah. And Boston, people are calling for him to be the captain.
Isn't that crazy? It's impressive what he's been able to accomplish.
Yeah, I'm happy for him.
Oh yeah, it's really great to see him specifically, or other former Avs, well, most former Avs, I guess I should say, to continue to do well outside of the organization. But what was that?
I mean, his personality is going to be their saving grace as a
probably
vibe for the team because they have dark years coming.
They do. And like I was saying before, gone are the days of Patrice Bergeron, gone are the days of Brad Marchand, gone are the Tuukka Rask, all that stuff. That's history at this point.
Yeah.
And this is my concern, because it's well, people still ride Boston pretty high, even though they were really terrible last year.
Right.
And so
they have a lot of pride.
That's my key to this game, Brit, is to figure out which Boston Bruins team you're playing. Is it the one where the record shows this 3-1 team?
Swayman is like the guy that they're paying, not
Yeah. Or is it
overpaying.
going to be one of those games where, for example, they happen to be riding this high and they run into the buzzsaw that is the Colorado
Right.
Avalanche, because the Avs can go out and score 4
Exactly.
goals as
Let's
needed.
kill their vibe.
It's all about killing that momentum.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, there's various ways to do that, right? And I've said this a million times, and I even said it last week in preparation for the beginning of the season. Face-offs and scrums against the boards. To me, if you lose a face-off, that's the same as a turnover. If you lose a
Right.
scrum against the boards, that is the same as a turnover, right? So
Yep.
it's those little tic-tacky things that I think are going to end up making the biggest difference. If it's a bad pass, if it's an errant puck, if it's a delay of game penalty, too many men is going to be another big thing.
Right. The
Anything like
clumsy shit
that,
that's in your control.
exactly, things you can control. Anything like that, in my opinion, is going to be something that the Avs need to mitigate.
Right.
Those little errors, and I think
They
that's the key to
have to
this
be
game.
done being a regular part of your game by the time playoffs come. I mean, everything, it feels like we have the roster. There's no excuses. Like I've said a million times, there's no roster issues. Everything that we're doing right now is simply gameplay adjustments to be completely prepared to go. I genuinely believe this team will go to the Stanley Cup Finals.
They definitely can. And I totally agree with that sentiment. They absolutely have the capability to do that, as long as they just play a consistent game of hockey. And this is one of those trials of, as far as, where are your inconsistencies? Where are the mistakes being made? This is, in my opinion, the game to fix those.
Yeah.
Okay. Last one for next week. They're coming to my place. They're going to be at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City. I will be in attendance to that game, where they now will visit the Utah Mammoth. This one's going to be on ESPN, nationally broadcast. I think it's going to be a really good game based off of how the first one went.
Oh my gosh.
I already have my
in
Nathan
that arena.
McKinnon.
I bet it'll be so fun and so loud.
Oh, here's the cool part. So my sister, who's also an Avalanche fan, her and I are going to that game. And we're in those new seats that they just built.
Are you? Fancy,
we're excited.
Is that where your season tickets are, or did you?
No, our season tickets are up their lower upper bowl
with the peasants.
Pretty much. But like I said,
cool.
I will always
so fun.
I will always. I already have my McKinnon jersey picked out.
So you're wearing an Avs jersey.
Well, I'm wearing an Avalanche jersey. But this game, Brit, it's a little revenge game not too far after you just beat the Mammoth at your place.
Yeah, Utah's got something to take back.
Utah has a very big chance here, because it's going to be off of, I believe for them was a 3-game homestand where they play the Flames, the Sharks. No, it's a 4-game homestand. Excuse me. They play the Flames, the Sharks, the Bruins, and then the Avalanche, right? So they are going to be well-seasoned at home. That arena, and I can tell you this, and I've been to many arenas before. In fact, I'm going to their home opener tomorrow, at the time of this recording, I should say. And then I'm going to Dallas to their game against the Canucks.
We got our little world traveler here.
I know. Look at me go, right? I can tell you that the Delta Center is one of the loudest places,
I believe
in
it,
any venue I have visited
and I just think as that rivalry grows, oh my god, did you hear how loud Ball Arena was?
Oh, it's going to be great. I'm excited.
That team is going to be good way faster than I think a lot of people are anticipating, and if not good, I think pesky is the word that I've kind of dawned upon Utah this year. Those games are going to become some of the best I think that a person could attend in the NHL when the rivalry peaks between the Avs and the Mammoth. Our Stanley Cup windows kind of cross. It's going to be a wild time, and it's going to come really quick. So yeah, I'm really excited.
You're right. And so my key to the game for this one, Brit, is that revenge factor from the Mammoth, right?
Yeah.
Not losing, they only lost by one
Possibly
goal. They
coming
had
off
plenty of
several wins.
they could have some good wins strung together. Their cohesion could finally be there. Obviously, I
Yeah.
remember last season they talked about how the home crowd was pretty they were very overwhelmed playing in front of them because it's obviously coming from Arizona,
Oh
5,000
God.
versus 15,000, it overwhelmed them.
Yeah.
And they finally caught on to that groove, and now those that have still continued with the team are used to it. They have, again, I don't want to call it a trap game because Utah is, in my opinion,
Right.
one of these teams
I think
that
they're taken seriously.
and I think I said this in my season prediction, they are going to hold possession of the second wild card spot and get into the playoffs. I still believe that, even though they've
Yeah.
been off to a less than stellar start. Right?
Yeah, it's a big year for them, and I think that they're gonna show up.
Exactly. It's like I said, it's nationally broadcast. They tend to show up pretty well in those types of games, and if their cohesion's there and they're used to the home atmosphere, 4-game homestand, it's going to be a tough game.
Yeah.
I think. It's going to be up there with your Dallases now, your Winnipegs, any other
Right.
division
Well, and
rival
a
that's
very young team riding an emotional high is just about as good as any
oh
back
yeah.
to vet
Oh yeah.
elite team.
And
I'm super excited for you. I'm also very jealous, but yeah, I think it's
I'll
gonna
send
be
pictures.
a wonderful game because even on TV, the first game against them was so fast. I couldn't believe that a game was that fast this quick into the season, but
Yep.
that's both of our games. So, and
Yep.
their goalies, no matter who they play, they could grab someone from the beer league. He's gonna stand on his head because that's just what these teams do against
That's
us.
what happens. Well, and here's another worry though, Britt, is so in a preseason game that we attended against the Sharks, we watched Vitek Vanacek, not the Sharks, the Kings. We watched Vitek Vanacek play out of his mind. And if they have that plus Karel Vejmelka, who started 26 games in a row last season, so basically played a postseason, they're like,
he's one of those dudes that gets our number.
If any one of them is on point, it's going to be terrifying. Like I have said this before, and I will say this again here. I don't know if I have said it here. I was at that game between the Mammoth and the Hurricanes last season, where Vejmelka stopped 50 of 51 shots.
He is a specimen to be studied as to how he can be so
that's
good.
not it. That's not all, I should say. 12 and a half minutes of that third period were shorthanded for the Mammoth.
It's insane. Like literal
and they didn't let a single goal in during that time. That is nuts. And that's what my worry is. If the Avalanche get that type of a goaltender. Exactly. Because the thing is, a good goaltending play.
Early.
Exactly. Good goaltending play can always motivate, especially if you're the home team, always motivate the forwards to go out and score. Right.
Yeah. And then the goalie plays better and better. I will say it so many times in this life. There is nothing more dangerous than a goalie that's feeling sexy. Like you make a big glove save at the beginning of the game and you can literally ride that to a new NHL.
Exactly.
Contract.
And I mean, you look at the Avalanche the year look, I'm even wearing it. The year they won the cup when Francouz came in. They totally flipped. Like I remember that game against Winnipeg. You're down 3-0 going into the third period. Francouz came in halfway through the game, and all of a sudden you win that game 6-3. You score 6 goals in the third period,
and that's because you play better in front of a goalie who's playing sexier and a goalie that's playing. It's all so cyclical and intertwined. Everybody go hug your goalie. Tell them they're pretty.
There you
Bring them a Diet Coke in the locker room. Just
you
gotta make your goalie feel good. And that's why this year feels so different because we have not had goalie joy. I loved Kemper and I loved Francouz. We have not been fully, like me considering buying a goaltender's jersey, a real one, full price. So we have not been able to worship a goalie in my adult lifetime, it feels like. I feel like Varlamov is truly the last one to do it. And I still want him back. I feel regret for I wish He was just not the right time. Imagine if we could bring us a Varley right now, but goaltending, it feels like those one-off dudes, we seem to, if we don't score quickly, we can really make them look. That's how you end up with a Connor Ingram 49 saves on 50 shots against St. Louis game. So I think scoring quickly is going to be so important.
It's going to be, because again, it's that unknown factor of the Mammoth have taken a step up. How big of a step is that going to be? And are you going to be, you, the Avalanche, going to be the casualty of that? So it's basically about silencing that home crowd, right?
Yeah. Well, and they have a team name and they have a tangible
identity. Yep.
Identity. Yes. That this year they're playing for so much different type, like a pride that they haven't really been able to have since even before with the Coyotes and having a shameful identity into having a vague one. But now it just, it's scary. It scares me that they could literally like take a playoff spot from the Avalanche. I mean, I can get there.
It's that wild card factor. And you mix that in with that revenge game just from not even a week ago at the time of this recording.
And luck.
And some puck luck. Boy, how is that something the Avalanche haven't had in a long time? You need to get kind of all three of those to mix together, and mitigate, again, like with Boston, mitigate mistakes, scoring early, taking things to that nature. But it's definitely going to be a different atmosphere, a very loud atmosphere, because
and having fans that are excited about them.
They're passionate fans, right? I've been to, I don't know how many Jazz games in my lifetime, and whether they are the best team in the league or the worst team in the league, they cheer just as loud.
Look at how good the Avs are, and McKinnon is commenting on them booing the power play, which I don't know that that's necessarily what was happening. I think it was Rantanen and Duchesne, but the fact that even some of the most devout should be satisfied fan bases with what we've been given in the last 5 years are crabby at their teams. Like, imagine having a fan base that literally knows nothing but absolute hope and joy for you. You know what I mean? They haven't suffered at all with them yet in a way that would give them like any pessimistic views. So that's really powerful for them. Sorry, I'll go on about Utah forever. I'm just really excited about them.
They have
I demand that you post a video to gauge how loud it is in there. Show me your watch.
I will try my best to put if the Mammoth score at some point, like there were a couple
I guarantee that the loudness at Ball was not all. We know that Ball is very
and that can get
filled
really
with other fan teams.
Oh yeah.
So I'm curious to see them all cheering for their own team.
We'll just have to see how that happens. Now, I do know from the games that I went to, obviously half of that arena was Avalanche fans, or at least it felt like.
Is it okay? I wondered that. Yeah. I'm gonna have to, like, if you could just get a notepad and take a count for me while you're sitting.
I'll just count heads.
That'd be great. It would be very interesting to see those statistics, because people are gonna have to make some choices down the road when they're competing against each other in possibly 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
Nik and Allie.
It's going to be a fun game either way, but I think again, all of these games are winnable. I mean, at the end of this next week,
you'll be there, and they really did not.
I know, and it's
put on a show for us when we were there, so they really do owe a very good win, because that was so depressing that they managed to lose when we went to go watch them amidst.
Oh, the Dallas game that you and I went to last season.
Yeah.
Gosh,
we watched the Dallas season.
Brett. The trip was fun. The game wasn't.
Oh my God! Sitting in the bar watching the Oilers game, we were just like, ew.
I know. We were just like, what is going on? Yeah. But the big difference on this one is that when they come out for warmups, I'm going to be right up against the glass. I chose not to do that last season. I regret doing that. So I'm going to be right up against the glass. We'll get pictures.
Fangirl. There's no shame in just making some high pitch noises and loving your team.
Pretty much. And I'm not ashamed of it either. So I'll be right up watching the boys take warm-ups. So that'll be nice. Okay, Britt. So that takes care of everything I wanted to talk about for this week. I want to introduce a new little routine every week. This is something that I will say that I'm stealing from the Locked On Avalanche podcast, where they would do this every day. Obviously, we don't do this every day. We do it weekly. I want to kind of pick a song that
Yeah.
best reflects how the past week went, and just kind of maybe give a couple of explanations as to why you think that, or just if the name speaks for itself, anything to that extent. I don't know if I want to put this on a Spotify playlist. Maybe I will. I don't know.
Yes, I demand we do.
All right, we'll put it
Even
on
if
a
I have to do it,
Spotify.
I'll do it.
I'll
And I
don't worry, I
want
can do it.
other suggestions too from others that we can also add.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
100%. Yeah,
sorry,
let
I
us
don't know.
know.
You can still see me, right? My
Oh yeah,
camera's being funky
I
here.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so
would
that
love
being
to know what
so
other
so I
people.
think this title is a work in progress, but I'm thinking calling it Hockey Hits of the Week. Just because I think it's a good play on words,
Interesting.
and that's about all I could think of in about a few days for notice.
Tell us more.
So my hockey hit of the week this week, Britt, based off of the fact that you went out and did very well against all these teams, is "The Kids Are All Right" from
I
The
like
Offspring.
that.
So I guess I should say it's a play on words. Obviously, I even posted a little hint of my song choice in the first game against LA, but my song of choice is "The Kids Are All Right" by The Offspring.
It's I like it. I think it's perfect. It's like because we somehow adding like the oldest hockey player in the NHL, Nate just makes this team feel like we are so I don't know. There's something I don't know. I'm gonna get all like blabby because I don't even know how to say what I'm thinking, but I think that's a great pick.
Yep. And I guess to clarify, the song title is "The Kids Aren't All Right," but I'm trying to
Our
get
kids are all right.
our kids are all right. That's what I'm trying to say is our kids are all right, but the others aren't. That's my play on words. Sorry, let me clarify. Anyways, Britt, song choice. What do you have?
So I picked a song. It is one that you have never heard. Well, you heard it tonight. I introduced it to you. It's a song that more people should hear. It is a song by Ultraviolet Fever, my closest friend right here in Sioux City. I don't know how this town can contain her talent, but she plays here and she's my best friend. She plays pickup hockey with me. She and her husband and a couple of people in town have this band called Ultraviolet Fever, and they travel around the Midwest. They have a song called Pocket Full of Mojo. And the first time I really met her and found out that they were more than just people who played in a garage, this was the song that I found. They had made a music video for it, and it is the most joyous song, and it's so carelessly full of joy, but it's called Pocket Full of Mojo. And I was going to read you some lyrics, and I'm going to bless you all with the link, and I'd love for you all to go check it out. The video is super fun.
It is.
They are incredibly talented people, but this song, when you messaged me about this, I listen to their albums often, like I have their vinyl, but this is always my go-to song to listen of theirs. It is exactly how I feel about this team. I am recklessly high on this team. I genuinely, honest to God, think that this team will win the Stanley Cup if luck, the luck aligns. I feel like luck is the one thing that we can't control, but the confidence that I have in the way that it correlates to this song, and pull it up. Oh man, I'm trying to get it to pull up.
which I will say after
Can you
listening
hear
to
me?
that song, yeah, I got you. After listening to that song, I was like, this is like funkadelic, man. It was kind of
Oh
grooving.
my gosh.
I really enjoyed it. So
I'm curious to see
we
if I can just go in and cut this out after we're done
yeah,
because
we'll
it's
have to
driving
see.
me crazy that I can't pull it up. And when it isn't moving,
No, that's all right. While you're looking it up, we'll see if you can get it. But
I was
let
gonna,
us know. Let us know in the comments what song you thought of. Obviously, hats off to the Locked On Podcast Network, the Locked On Avalanche, for having this idea
yeah,
originally. I don't know if they do it anymore. I know this that was more of a Chris and Kyle thing. So
something
we're
tells me that we're a little bit more of the emotional types when it
oh
comes
yeah,
to it. Yeah.
oh yeah.
It's so funny to think
Just wait for a bad week, Britt. Oh my
very
gosh, I'm gonna.
different personalities picking music. I'd imagine that the genres would vary widely from what they
Oh
may
yeah.
pick one day to
Well,
what
and
we
like I
may
said,
pick.
I mean, it's going to take everything in my power not to pick a Green Day song every week, just because Green Day is my favorite band. Um,
That's a lot of emotion packed in
old
there,
school
though.
like that. But yeah, I
As
decided to
long
go
as
with
we're
the
not
Offspring.
like jumping to, it's hard not to. I think we need to make a rule that we don't go straight to the obvious every time. We have to eliminate
Well,
like
yeah, a little indie
the
here and there or something like that. I like it. I like it. Okay.
I'm
Well,
okay. Well,
if not, Brett, you could always post the lyrics onto the page, and
yeah,
you could kind of give an explanation there. But I believe we'll be able to add them all
I
to
will. I'm gonna
Spotify.
post it up.
Yeah, that
I
sounds
just
good to
hate
me.
to quote it wrong.
Oh, that's all right. But we'll post those lyrics onto the website, or excuse me, onto our social links, so you can kind of get what Brit's vibe was. Again,
Yes, I want. Please take a minute and listen to them because
it
they
was very. It's a
have the
pretty
pocket
fun
full of
song.
mojo. It's a song when you're feeling good, but I
Yeah.
am hoping I won't need to dig in deeper into my pocket for the songs that are going to be needed on rainy days. Because I told Nick I'm hoping I can just pick happy songs for the rest of the year because that's just where I feel like this team is at.
Yep.
But I know that we can't win every single game from here on out, but it doesn't feel terribly far
Yep.
off. I don't know, Nick. What are you, how from 0 to 10, how high are you on them winning the Stanley Cup?
I mean, like I said, right now I'm up in the nines. Like it's to a point where I'm like, listen, we're first in the league right now. Obviously, it's super early and things can happen, things can change quickly. But based off of what I saw, and the only thing that I'm kind of complaining about is the fact that you're not able to capitalize on a power play, yet you're scoring any other way. I'm pretty
After
confident. I'm
firing
pretty happy.
the
Yeah.
power play problem, supposedly that's the biggest. So,
Yeah.
but he knows that we're not attached to him, so I'm sure he's going to work really hard to fix it fast.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Okay, Britt. So we'll have you post those lyrics onto the page when you find them, and
I was
we'll
going to
add
read them, but I think I'd rather I'm going to post them with the video. So that's
I like it.
Ultraviolet Fever. That's my best girl, Angie.
Pocket full of
She's
mojo.
my defense woman and sweet maker of music. And her husband, Sean, they are the band Ultraviolet Fever. They travel a lot around the Midwest. They go to a lot of festivals, but their music is all accessible on iTunes also. I believe it's on Spotify too, YouTube, and on Facebook.
Yep.
Check them out.
Shameless
I genuinely
plug.
cannot
Shameless
recommend them
plug,
enough. I know,
especially when it's a BFF. You have to.
And I gave him about 5 minutes notice that I needed to do this tonight. So
yep.
Thank you,
so
Nick,
we'll make sure that they get plastered, and we'll send some love their way, because that song it got me mojo, man.
It's good, isn't it? It feels that's the season's vibe, man. That's where we're going.
Is. It was a good song, and I'm like, I can see why you would pick this for the song of the week. So hockey hits of the week, I think, is what we'll call it. I think I like that name. So all right, Britt, long episode today, obviously, but there's a lot to talk about. The fact that hockey's back, it's just great. It's a great feeling,
Right.
So
and it's good. Good hockey.
And it's a good feeling. We got a pocket full of mojo, and the kids are all right. So, Brit, that's going to run us to the end of the episode. Unless there's anything else you want to add, we'll go ahead and close up shop here.
No, I don't think so. Have a good week. Go Avs, go.
No kidding. Okay, well, thank you, everyone, for joining us on this week's episode of the Cluster Puck Podcast, part of the MHRT Network. Again, if you like what you saw, don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow the MHRT Network so you can get notified when shows like the Cluster Puck Podcast go live. You can do so on the various social media platforms of your choosing. And if you want to follow us, we ask that you do so at the Cluster Puck Podcast on Facebook and at Cluster Puck Avs on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. With that being said, we're first in the league. Let's see if that stays the same by the time we talk next week. So, with that being said, have a great week, everyone. And as always, go Avs, go.
Fast lane when I pass in the street, bag of money in the passenger seat. Simcoe's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might never come down, cause the coast's racking up the flame out. So high, I might never come down, so what, this is my lifestyle.